So now that we have looked through the various tools used in SketchUp, we have learned most of the basic stuff. It's time to really apply SketchUp for its most intended purpose. Building a model for a house. Right now, this is the floor plan we're going to use as a reference guide, and what you're going to need is something called a DWG file. So to achieve that, you can export that from whatever software you've used to draw your plan, and then that will be good to bring into SketchUp for the modeling. But I'm going to show you how to create the DWG file for a software, Archicad. Through Archicad, if you've drawn your plan in Archicad, you can easily create that by using this tool called the marquee tool, and then you rubber band select over your floor plan, after which you right click and choose, after which you choose save file, save as, and then make sure you choose DWG as the format for the save, and then you're able to save that file as a DWG. Now we have that saved. We no longer need this window. I'll close that, and we get back to our SketchUp software, and now we can do file, import, and then you browse to your folder where you save the DWG, choose on it, and then click the import button. And what that will do, just click close here, it will bring in that file as line work that we can use as a reference guide to start our modeling. So now that we have this in, it comes in grouped, as you can see. When you double click, you can individually select these lines. So let's place this into a tag. Create a new tag, name the tag helper line work, and then scroll up until you find entity info, and let's apply that to the helper tag. Now it's time to start building the model. Let's choose our rectangle tool and start and trace out one of the boxes. Choose the push-pull tool and set how high you want the walls to be. In this case, 3 meters. Now we are going to push-pull this form all around the building. So you push the wall until you reach a corner, and then click, and then click again, push, press Ctrl to create a copy of an extrusion, and click on a corner. And we go on doing this for the exterior wall until we have the whole perimeter of the building. So it's important to note that whenever I reach a corner and extrude more, I press the Ctrl key. This goes quite fast. Once you get used to it and you've done several models, you will find it's extremely easy to do, and it goes without saying that it's also fun. So we're almost through with our exterior walls, and this closes that up. Now we have the exterior walls built. Let's triple select this form, right click, make that a group, and create a new tag labeled as exterior wall. Now let's place, with this selected, go to entity info and place that in exterior wall. Now if we switched off this icon I for the exterior wall, you notice that the exterior walls disappear. Now for this, let's do the same thing for the interior walls. Let's build these up. And the reason why I'm separating these, it's good practice to keep creating groups, because it helps when you need to hide certain things and concentrate on others. For example, if you're now going to do some interior design, you may find that you may not need the roof or the plants outside the house, so those you may want to hide temporarily. So that's why it's important to try to keep organized and group everything. When I started using Sketchup, I wasn't grouping things and I found that it led me to get stuck a number of times. So it's something that I wish I had known, which of course you're lucky that someone is telling you that. So it's one of the most important things to do. So now here I have one line, so if I pulled, it would pull this whole face. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select that edge and move a copy of that line, holding shift to lock to that edge, and then I can be able to pull this out just like that. Now we have built our interior walls as well. Just a couple missing here. And one more here. Let me delete this line so that this becomes one face that I can pull up. Group that, group that, group that, group that. So select all these interior groups and group that. So now we have exterior walls taken out. Those are the interior walls right there. We can create a new tag and name it interior walls, and then apply those, select those and apply them to the tag interior walls. Now what we can do, we can switch off the interior walls or switch them on, or switch off the exterior walls, which is something that comes in handy many times. Now that we have built the form, let's select our floor plan and bring it up to the top of the walls. And why I like doing it this way is that it enables me to see where the windows and doors are. Otherwise, with it being down, you can't clearly see where you're supposed to put the openings. So by selecting it and bringing it up, you have this ease of seeing where you're supposed to place the windows. Now, as you probably know, if you're in the construction industry, design industry, most houses have like a ring beam going around the house. So you want to measure what height that beam is at, and use your tape measure. Choose the tape measure tool and move it up and type that height. In this case, it's going to be 2400. So that's going to be the level of our beam. So double click on the exterior wall, choose this rectangle tool, and starting from that guideline, I draw my window like that. And now I click that, click the push pull tool, click once and move it until I see that word on face. It means now I pushed it to the end of the face on the other side. So once I click, it creates a hole. Now this is going to be our window. Now we're going to move these edges to the appropriate location of the beginning and end of the windows. So now we have the right width for this window, which matches the plan. Now you want the right height at this point. I'm going to say let my window be 800 from the ground. So I've placed my marker right there at 800 from the ground. Click this face and push to that point. Now we have this window built in. Now this window was the same as this window in dimension, as you can see, 1.7, 1.7. So what I can do, I can select these edges. I can select the edges and move a copy by moving and hitting the Control key. To that point. Now I can also, I forgot to move this edge. Now I can also push this in. Now we have the location of the windows right there. Now we do this for all the windows and doors. This edge at that point, this edge to that point, and let's move the top of the door to that point. So all these have to be on the same ring beam level. Same for this toilet window. Let me make it so this window is 800 by 1000 meters high. And then we have a door at the back as well. So these concepts, these ideas we are using to model the same ideas that you can use if modeling furniture or anything within this program. So I'm pushing this, but there's a simple trick where you can use other points within the model as reference to help you achieve the right dimensions or sizes. So like I pull that and reference that point, and now you can see it has adjusted to that. (1000 by 800). We have another one there and another one there, and we can push all these through, and we have a door right here. 400, 900. Now that we have built our form or shape of the building, at this point we want to build the floor. So let's create a rectangular plane like this, and we can move its edge so that it fits within the bounds of the building. Let's give it thickness, let's say 150. Triple click that and make a group. Double click the group to enter the group. And we make sure that it fits within the range that we want it to be at. So here I'm drawing rectangles on top of that floor so that I can delete out the parts that I no longer need. Now this is the base of the floor. I'm going to use it to create a splash apron. Yeah, so I'm going to copy this plane because it has the same shape. Within the group, I go out of the group and paste. So we have that plane pasted, and then I'm going to choose this offset tool, and I'm going to offset this by 450. Yeah, triple click that and make that a group. I have my splash apron there, and we give it thickness. Triple click, select that plane and give it some thickness like 150. So now our house is grounded with the splash apron. At this point, we want to start thinking about how we are going to roof this house. Yeah. So what we're going to go for this example, we're going to do a hidden roof. yeah, flowing to the back of the house. So to do that, let's create a plane. Group that, make it large enough to cover the whole house. Let's delete out this part that we don't need. Choose the rectangle tool, draw this rectangle, choose the eraser tool and erase that out. Same thing here. Now let us select this roof, choose the rotation tool. Let's find this corner, extreme end, click through the arrows to find the axis along which we are going to rotate. Click once, click on that same edge and then rotate the angle, the pitch of the roof, the angle by which you want the roof to be over the building. So in this case we're going to use 5 degrees. So as I rotate, I type 5 and click enter. So now we have that roof pitch at 5 degrees. Let us now go back to our exterior wall. At this point we no longer need this floor plan, it's getting in our way, so let's just go to the tags and hide it. Help align work. Now it's hidden. As you can see, it cleans up the model. So let's bring these walls up to cover the roof. $1,000. Now we just pull this wall by 1,000 upwards. After using this tool, the push-pull tool, immediately after conducting an operation like pulling something by a certain number, if you're going to conduct the same operation again, you can just double click on a face and it conducts the same operation. So what I mean by that is I've pulled this upwards by 1,000. So if I want to pull this up by 1,000 again, I don't have to first select it and then pull it up. I can just double click on it like that. Double click on this. So it's pulling all those by 1,000. But if I did something like 178 there and then I double click, it will no longer be 1,000. So it uses the calculation from the previous operation. Yeah, so if I pull this by 1,000 and double click, that will be 1,000. So that's how that works. Let's go on doing the same for these walls. Want to pull this to that point. Okay, now we can reduce this since the roof is way lower than this top. Let's say 500. And pull this up 200. double click, that's 200. Let's cut this roof at this point by selecting the roof, choosing the rectangle tool and modeling that out. Eraser tool, delete that. So now, and just to add interest, we are going to create a wall that comes out to highlight the entrance. So let's do that. Again, just I'm constantly reminding you that once I reach the end and I want to push another surface, I hit the control key and you'll see that plus sign means we're adding to the extrusion, and then you keep on doing the same. Now we have a little grand entrance right there. Let's double click this and group it. Again, make sure you have grouped objects. Let's create the floor or terrain. So it's not exactly where we want it to be. So we shall triple click it, group it, and then move it to the base of the splash apron. Now I'm going to show you how to apply material textures. Previously we saw that we can apply colors by going to this tab and choosing a color and then applying the color to the object, right? And then these same colors meanwhile can also be edited by going to this tab, and then you can fine tune how bright or how saturated that color is. So in this case, if you're within the edit mode in HBS, H means hue, the color, S means saturation, how strong or dull the color is, and B means how bright or dark the color is. So this is something you can use to fine tune the colors that you're using within the model. And another thing to notice, if you're in the selection tab for the materials, you can also find this pop-up menu that gives you other textures like brick, carpets, glass, roofing, stone, etc. For example, let's go to landscape, and here you're going to find something like grass that you can apply here, and you have that grass texture on that plane. You can decide to create some columns right here, 400, 400, raise that up, triple click, make a group, move it by 100, make a component so that when you edit it also the other one edits, and bring another copy to this side. Move it by the same distance. Now if I double click this and enter this component, I can go here and choose stone, and then we have this kind of stone applied to that object. Yeah. Another way you can bring in materials is by downloading the material texture you want to download, and then clicking on the face, choosing file, import, and accessing the downloaded material. Yeah, in this case I'm going to go for the wood texture. Choose the texture you want to apply that you downloaded, and make sure that right here texture is the option that is clicked upon, and choose import. And now click once on the face, drag out the size you want the texture to be, and then click the second time, and now we have our texture applied to this surface. Double click. Let's make this whole wing having the wooden texture. Okay, what I did here, when I chose the paint bucket tool, I was able to color pick this material and apply it there. If I color pick the material of this column, you notice that here in the materials preview, it shows me the material I'm applying. So you can color pick by holding the Alt key, and it changes to that eyedropper tool that enables you to pick a color and then apply it, a color or texture. So that's how you apply your own custom textures that are not within, that you may not find within this SketchUp window. So let's apply wood also onto these surfaces right here. And then for this middle one, let's probably leave it like that, but I'm not comfortable with this tone. Let me change this to another one. And again, this is an opportunity to show it to you again. Click on the face, choose file, import, go to the material you want to import, and then choose that material. Make sure texture is selected and click import. Drag out the scale or size of the texture you want and click the second time, and now you have that texture applied. Click the paint bucket tool and you can pick this texture so that it's applied to the preview, and then you're able to paint all the other faces of the same object. So again, once you get lost into the model, remember there is this button called zoom extents that zooms the camera view in and out or out to show the entire model, and then you're able to get back on track. Now let's also apply a material to this splash apron. For that, let's go back to the materials panel, look for concrete, landscaping, asphalt and concrete. Alright, we're going to apply this material right there. And then for the flow, double click on the flow, and let's go for the tiles. Now notice that this tile texture is too small. Once you have applied a texture and you find that you're not comfortable with the scale, what you want to do, you want to use this color picker, pick the texture and go to edit, and in edit right here you can change the size of that texture by typing the size that you want. So here I'm going to type 1000, and you notice that the texture has increased in size. If I dial this up more, 4000, notice that it's even bigger. Yeah, so that's one way you can apply your own customized texture and size of texture. So for this, at this point we're going to draw a line so that we are able to apply this tile texture there while we apply the wooden texture. Remember, I'm holding Alt to switch from the paint bucket to the color picker, and then apply that texture right there. Now for the roof, let's go back here and find the roof textures. And apply this corrugated metal sheet. And now we are close to the finishing line. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how you can create windows and doors for your model.